It's as unique as your DNA. It's completely yours. And there's no two human beings have ever been breathing the same way, which is why it's so intrinsically connected to the past and to your trauma, because your autonomic nervous system uses it as a tool to mobilize you to get you back to safety. And how does it do that? Well, it picks the thing that makes you frightened the most, because that's the most reliable source of where you don't want to go back to. So whenever you're in a situation where your body feels as though it's under threat, or your brain thinks that you're under threat, it'll quickly take you straight back, maybe to a time where you felt the most vulnerable. So that's why the organism has to remember that in terms of the body keeps the score. It has to. Otherwise you'd be dead already. It's the origins of anxiety. And that's connected to CO2, believe it or not, and the amygdala. And there's a science paper by Justin Feinstein, I think his name is. And a really, really interesting paper about, about your chemoreceptor sensitivity to CO2. If the better your Bolt score is, basically, and the less reactive you are to carbon dioxide, the less anxious you'll be as a person. So there's lots of work to be done with this. But unfortunately, it's not quick fix. And that's why I think people are so focused in on the Wim Hof Method, which is an amazing thing. It really, really is. And it's helping so many people to reconnect back to their bodies all over the world. There are huge amounts of people who cannot do the Wim Hof Method because they're suffering with PTSD or trauma, and they try and breathe like that, and the body will take them straight back to it. So that they freak out or they burst into tears the minute they start. Why? Because when they were going through their trauma, they were... And if you're not careful with it, some people can go and do a breath session and it can make them suicidal when they go home, especially if they go back and they're on their own. I always say to people, if you go back, make sure that you're with somebody. Don't go back to work, because you're going to need a little bit of time to to process what it is that you've just been through and what you've just seen potentially for the first time in 20 odd years. That's a lot. So you have to be so gentle with people. And, sometimes big, deep, heavy breathing isn't always the way to start. It always gets results. And there's a lot of breath coaches out there now that are pushing people very hard.
We want results.
Because everybody wants results straight away. Take it easy. It's taken 30 odd years to put that there. You're not going to release. You're not going to rebirth. I hate these sayings. I don't like rebirth. How are you being reborn? Come on. There's stupid sayings. Release. You don't release trauma. If you could release it, then everybody would release it. Your nervous system won't allow you to release trauma.